Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the COP update for this Monday, the 24th of January. 24th of January. Brought to you by Féileacáin, our new charity partner. Check them out in the show description, and you will see their details and the details how you can donate and get us to 10k ASAP. Also on LFCDT.com, on our front page of our website, you will see again their details and how you can donate and help us get to that 10k. Our target is 10k by the 10th of June, and I think we're going to do it. On today's show, we're going to run through there's some transfer stuff. We're going to go to the BBC gossip page, let's be honest about it. That's where we're going to go, and we're going to see what we can find there. But we're going to start off with Diogo Jota. Ali Ace says, big up Gav, rivals crying and pundits as well, and he loves it. If you're in the chat, you're very, very welcome. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, share across your social media, but most of all, try your comments in there as to any thoughts you have today, and we look after them for the next 25 minutes. Shawnee says, alright, GFFER. I think I know what he's trying to say, but I'm going to make him type it again, if that's okay. Blessings all, says Bejan. How are you, man? I think it's early enough in the day for Bejan. It's around 9 o'clock, I think he said. But you're very, very welcome. So, Diogo Jota. We seen the Liverpool match yesterday. We done a post-match reaction. Alright, Gaffer, he says. I don't like you calling me Gaffer. But we all watched the match yesterday. We done a post-match reaction, myself and Chris, and spoke about Diogo Jota and the penalty. And we done a Fatback 4 last night, which was brilliant as well, and we spoke at length about this. Now, I've watched this back about 100 times, and I don't think it's a penalty. Okay? I don't think it's a penalty. I think Jota misses his touch. I think it goes past the keeper. I think Jota, could he get to it, could he not get to it? I'm not too sure, but I don't think that's relevant. I've seen Ashley Barnes' penalty at Anfield that was given last season being thrown up there, and that's never a penalty either. And he kicks it into the Anfield Road end and hovers a leg out and throws himself on the ground and gets the penalty. I don't think Ashley Barnes' one was a penalty against us, and I don't think Diogo Jota's was a penalty for us yesterday. Now, I'd love to know what you think. I'm sure there's people in here that didn't watch the shows yesterday, or I didn't get a chance to read out their opinion. So throw it in there and let me know what you think. But the big thing to come out of this is the reaction. Now, I think I seen a clip earlier. I think it might have been, is it Darren Ambrose, former player? I think he played with Newcastle, somebody else. His head fell off. He decided that it's never a penalty, look at it, blah blah blah, had an absolute breakdown, and then said, if that's not Liverpool, it's not given, and went on about how the big sides get all these decisions and stuff like that. And then I think it might have been Graham Kelly's having a flyer on Twitter on this one this morning, and he brings up the league table for VAR and the net pros and cons or good and bad decisions you get. Liverpool are about fourth bottom in that overall. So it's one of those where he's talking out his arse, to be honest with you. But it's amazed me the controversy over. It's amazing. And this follows on from the whole COVID stuff around Liverpool and Arsenal, which made Arsenal look very, very silly in the end. And as I said, transparency didn't do anything for Liverpool. Decisions being made. The referee doesn't give a penalty. He's asked to look at it because VAR decided you need to look at it. He goes and looks at it and gives a penalty. I don't think it is a penalty, but he gives it. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact it's Diogo Jota at Liverpool. He's taken that decision on its merits. The fact that he gets to it or not is immaterial. It's all about, do you stop? Do you hinder a player in the box? Okay? We've seen before where players will take shots and they're clattered into. Ball goes miles wide, penalty. You've hindered him, you've tackled him, you've done, it's a follow through, blah blah blah, whatever it might be. Eugene says wasn't a pen for him, to be fair. I agree with you, Eugene, but I just think the controversy of it is absolutely insane. Mike Walker thinks it's a dirty play by Guita. I hope I'm saying his name right, Guita. What I would say is that the ball goes past the goalkeeper, and I don't know where he's sliding to. He's not making any effort to get to the ball. He's wrong-footed by the ball, and he collides with Jota. Jota makes a movement towards him. There's no doubt about that. But when you look at it, I think you could give it, and I think you might not give it. It could go either way. It's one of those. I think where when the ref goes over to the screen and looks at it, he's taking into account is that player hindered in the box? And he, by his reckoning, thinks he was, and he gives the penalty. But the controversy over it is absolutely mad. Tom Flynn says, come on, lads, give the video a like. Our target is always around 100 likes every time we come on here at 2 o'clock. If we can do that, that's great. If we don't, there's nothing I can do about it. I'll just come off here, mutter under my breath about it, and walk off. I really won't. I'll just come off and move on to the next show, which I'll tell you about in a bit. Glenn Parsons says, Bobby was offside. The defender had to go to him. So that means Edward was offside because Verge had to track him. Boko should be ruled out, so we still win. The Bobby one, I don't know why Firmino's jumping. He's never getting to it. And that defender is going in there regardless of whether Bobby's onside or offside. He's just going in there. I don't even think he realises Oxlade-Chamberlain's behind him. I don't even think Bobby Firmino does. He doesn't go near it. And we've seen before where, a player might run towards a ball 20, 30 yards and the flag doesn't go up, and it doesn't go up, and it doesn't go up. And then when he goes near it, it goes up, or he touches it, it goes up. Bobby Firmino jumps in the air. That defender, if that defender thinks that Bobby Firmino's offside, stay away from him. Just stay away from him. Mark the fella at the back post. Neither of them know Ox is there. That's what I think. Alex says Talksport clickbait nonsense, and I'm not going to read the rest of that. That's alright, Alex, because I don't make reference to that publication on this channel. Liverpool and United bring most clicks, that's why. A boy not him says, yeah, maybe so. But I just think the controversy is unbelievable. Like, the easy one to go after is Harry Kane. And like I titled this show Clever Forward Play because that's what we've seen being said so many times about the likes of Harry Kane, where you kick the ball towards like you're going to kick it out for a goal kick. You hang your leg in there, you get touched, you go down, it's a penalty. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't think Jota's one is not a penalty. That's why. But having said that, you can't call clever play 1 week or most weeks and then tell a fella that's absolutely disgraceful what's happened yesterday. It's just one of those. Like it's like Eugene says, I don't know why people are going mad. Liverpool, it wasn't Liverpool that made the decision. No, the ref made the decision that it wasn't, and then got asked to go and look at it, and he did. Carragher dealt my head in saying the ball was out. It simply wasn't. Alex, it doesn't matter where the ball's out. It doesn't matter. The ball's out. It simply doesn't matter. Look, put it this way. If I'm running into the box, take a heavy touch, and I go past you, where the ball goes, it means nothing. You have made contact with me in the box, and you've hindered me getting the ball, or even having a chance to get the ball, or run where I want to. And that's what happened. Sam says Gaeta's positioning was poor in terms of his hands and legs. Clumsy by him. He will always run the risk of giving away a penalty, in my opinion. I think the big thing about it was the fact that there was movement towards the keeper. Do you get me? There was movement towards the keeper by Jota. I think if Jota runs in a straight line, he probably still gets hit, and it's probably more of a clear-cut penalty. But the fact it moves in. As for the commentary, like willing Crystal Palace to score, willing them to score, talking about 13, 14 every 5 minutes, it was absolutely amazing. Is it amazing anymore, Gav? Says Coutinho. He says basically anything to do with us gets blown out of proportions. So fuck every single one of them. Yeah, look, it is, and it's like somebody said there earlier. It's just about the steps. Man like Sean, he says, Jota's steps integrated. The fact that they reviewed it millions times proves that they were unsure. Therefore, you still give a penalty. As for the reactions, let them hate. Well, yeah, it's a bit like the Jota one the other night, where he scores against Arsenal and it's an offside, and then they're looking back to see if there's a handball. They're as soon as you can see they're looking for offside, you know he's on. As soon as they're looking for a handball, you know he's onside. So it's all good. You know the goal is going to be given. I didn't think it was a pen, says Ian Matthews, but if Kane had won that pen, there wouldn't be any uproar. He would just be described as clever, and streetwise, yeah, he would. And the funny thing is, like, there's massive rows over Kane when he stands, and he literally stands there, lets a fella jump, and then leans over, and gets fouls all the time, and it's kind of died off that. It seemed to be a big thing under Mourinho, but it's kind of died off for Harry Kane. But that wasn't even controversial. That was just, he's just standing his ground, and he's clever in what he's doing. You could argue their goal offside of Ox's was Edward was offside in the pass before he scored. Happens 100 times, always is a goal. The thing about the Edward one is that he may be offside for the original pass, but he's not interfering. And then it's another stage of play. So when it gets to him, it's a goal. You've seen it happen loads of times where forwards will hang around the box, ball gets played out wide, they're offside, and then they're standing in the box waiting for it to be crossed in, and they're back onside because it's the next stage of play. Alex says Kane did exactly the same at Anfield a few years ago. Yeah, he did. And was that the game where the controversy over the penalty was also the one where the refs didn't know who touched the ball and then just decided we're looking for the fourth official to look on a screen, and he couldn't, and then he just went, listen, we're just giving it. Gav, they just hate Liverpool and the players, salty and jealousy. Bejan says, that was from Ali. Bejan says, nobody is talking about the fact Curtis stopped the game when the Palace player fell awkwardly and we were on the attack. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But again, if he doesn't stop, God knows what's being said, because we just have to get used to it. In my opinion, nothing carries traffic like Liverpool, and I mean nothing, in the Premier League. And I don't even think United come close at the minute because they have their own issues. I think there's a mindset here from the vast majority of people in the media and journos and whoever else that they've accepted the fact that they want a procession to the title from Man City, and they'll glorify it and they'll have a lovely time doing it, and they're banking on their relegation battle being the one that they pin it on. Now, Shawnee has said this a couple of times, they may get the season that they want because the relegation battle is going to go down to the wire. There's no doubt about that. When you look at the teams down there, games in hand, what points they're taking. If you look at the race for top four, that looks like it's going to become a complete bottleneck in the next couple of weeks. And then if Liverpool were to close this a little bit more on Man City, they may get the perfect season where everything's going. But when people get into a mindset of City are just going to walk this league, anything else that's out there that might go against that seems to just ruffle a few feathers. And it's one of those decisions where you go, look, it's late in the game, it's 2-1 to Liverpool. If they don't get it, they probably win the game 2-1. They do get it, they win the game 3-1. And people are carrying on like this was a 1-0 win for Liverpool with a last minute penalty. There shouldn't have been. Dylan O'Rourke says, is there anything new that top teams matches have more strange decisions? United to dominate for 20 years and claims still ring that Howard Webb was getting handouts off Fergie, nothing new. Listen, I don't think there was handouts being thing. I think that's a good joke that goes around about Howard Webb. The fact that United dominated for 20 years, the vast majority of that was down to the fact that they were the best team. That's just the way it is. Same with Liverpool in the 70s and 80s. But what does happen is that when you even as a Liverpool fan watching Liverpool go to Old Trafford from the mid 90s to probably the mid to late 90s, you never expected to get anything there, and anything 50-50 would go United's way because they'd 70,000 people screaming at them. And yeah, they had Alex Ferguson basically there without saying it, where he'd have referees not turn up there again, he'd have journals not turn up there again. That's the way he was. But part of me kind of admires that, because sometimes you will get a claim that Liverpool are a bit too nice, and sometimes you have to be horrible. And I don't think Liverpool were horrible in what they done in any way yesterday. I think Jota just takes a wrong touch, goes to go one way, collides with the goalkeeper, could be given, could not be given, but at the end of the day, Liverpool are winning the game. We're making out here as if, like I said, it's a last minute penalty, or if Liverpool don't get that penalty, Palace are definitely going up the other end and equalising. The amount of pundits that don't actually know the laws of the game is astounding. Yeah, it's not only that, Laura. It's not known the laws. It's sitting down on live radio or podcast or whatever it might be, and just coming out with stuff that isn't true, just coming out with stuff that is not true, and just saying it, and that's it. It's done. They walk out of the studio. Loads of clicks, loads of people are annoyed over it, and it doesn't matter. They're brought back the next day. It's a mad one. Ant Dicko says the uproar is laughable. Kane literally nearly snapped Lallana's neck and got a pen. Yeah, that was Brighton, wasn't it? At Spurs last season. The biggest issue here is lack of consistency with VAR. It's on 1 week and off the next. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it's consistent in any way. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's consistent. But when you take it, I'd love to see that incident happen next week, and I'd love to see it be Newcastle. I don't know. A relegation battle next week. Is there a relegation battle next week? Big fixture down there, and that happens. And if it's given or not given, and if it is, what happens? Because I just think it'll be it was a controversial one. That'll be it then. There won't be anything else. That'll be it. Get the title race down to the last day. Coutinho winner, Stevie slip celebration, and Liverpool win the league from Glenn Parsons. I don't know how many people will be able to handle that. I'm up for it. I'm being honest, but I don't know how many would be up for that if their heart would hold out. To be honest, Dynamo Kev says, let's see if Newcastle start getting decisions in an attempt to make sure they're in the Premier League next season. Sky, etc., will want them in there. Look, we could get 4 or 5 decisions next week. Not next week, but when the Premier League comes back. None of them involving Liverpool. They'll be spoken about. They'll be highlighted, and then that'll be it. But we're 48 or we're 24 hours after the game here, and there's no doubt if I look on the internet tomorrow, we will still see stuff about this penalty. You know, it's one of those. It's not like we've robbed the last minute winner because of it. We're winning the game. So it's one of those. Antico says the commentary were desperate for Palace to score again. Obsessed with the 3-3. Same old suspects moaning. Adrian Durham, Barry Glendenning. I haven't seen either of them moan, but if they are, cool. Everton versus Newcastle is coming up soon. So let's see. It's a big decision in that. Lots of ex-players are talking about things they don't understand. Carter's obsession with a high line. He's never played one, so he has no clue how to play in it. Well, Chris, you did point out something yesterday. Liverpool with this high line. Somebody said that we've dropped points or we've lost winning positions from this. We've lost 3 winning positions. There was 17 times we've gone ahead, I think you said, with this high line. The high line isn't the issue. The high line is not the issue. We play with that. We have the ability to play that way. It's the pressure on the ball. And people point out the forwards that we're missing because of that. That's fine, but usually what our forwards do is and I said it last night, they put you in positions where they want you to pass it into certain areas and then we pressure. But sometimes we switch off and we do let you pass into them positions, and a guy has 5 yards around to turn and look, and that's when you're in trouble, because guys can run off the back of you. You know, no matter how quick Virgil van Dijk is, or Joe Gomez, or Matip, or Kanate, or Robertson, Tsimikas, Trent Alexander-Arnold, it doesn't matter. If you're looking at that ball and it's 50 yards from you or 40 yards from you, this guy literally has a run on you in behind with 40 yards of space, it's hard to stop. The way you stop it is stop it at source. Or if you're not willing to stop it at source, you drop 10 yards. Simple as that. Palace fans are calling for an inquest into decisions from the game. Surely not. It can't be. Owen Burke agrees with me. He said the midfield press is the issue, not the high line. I agree with you. If Liverpool apply themselves and do what they're clearly told to do, there isn't an issue. And this is where you go back to this, functioning in midfield. The biggest function of that midfield was hounding people and not giving them a second in midfield to turn and look, because they want you playing sideways, they want you playing backwards. And if you do that, we can stay as high as we want, because if you're lobbing aimless balls up in the air, we'll eat them up. But if you're able to turn and play and look, and they're all Premier League footballers, like they can all hit 30-40 yard passes, all of them, you know what I'm saying? And the forwards, vast majority of them have pace and are cute enough to time something right to get in behind you. They don't have to run away from you, just get in behind you, keep their body between you, and they get a shot away. But look, we'll move away from it. I want to see what people think about the fact we have a break now. We're back for Cardiff in the FA Cup. We look like Harvey Elliott will be back for then. Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Naby Keita, Thiago could be back involved as well, and of course Divock Origi looks like he might be. We don't know how many weeks he is beyond that, but I want to see how confident people are, because going into what would be the start of February and 15 league games left, I think, 16 maybe. How confident are we? Because I can't remember the last time we've gone at the start of February with a clean bill of health like that. A real clean bill of health. And even if we were to lose 1 or 2 between February and May, it's not a huge time period. It's a fair amount of games. It's probably 20 odd games. If you take in the Champions League and go deep in it, and you have the League Cup final, obviously, if the FA Cup, we keep going in that. But I want to see how confident people are with regards to the squad going into what will be a huge 3 months. You know, at this stage, there's 7 days left in the transfer window. I can't see Liverpool doing anything. The only thing that's out at the moment is Carvalho off Fulham, but that's because he's 6 months left, and apparently Leeds and one other are looking at him as well. And it might be a case of a club like Leeds would be more willing to take a risk on him than we would. Owen Burke reckons he could do with a mid-season break himself. Yeah, we could. We'll be so good to have a fully fit squad, says Carl Robinson. Yeah, we'd be one player short, I think, of a fully fit squad, and I can't remember that for a long time, especially around this time of year. Kevin Ball, get Thiago and Elliot minutes in the game. It would be great. I'd love to see Thiago, Elliot, Keita, Mane, Salah all get minutes when they come back in that Cardiff game, and it sets us up then for, I think it'd be the Leicester on the Thursday night, I think. City's next two are Brentford and Norwich. Yeah, they have Brentford and Norwich, and then I think they've Spurs. I think they have. We are home to Leicester, away to Brentford, home to Norwich is their next three. But forgetting what they're doing, we can only keep winning and look to beat them at the Etihad. That's where our outlook has to be. How confident are you? How comfortable are you with everyone more or less being fit going into that Cardiff game now? Let me know. Just to read through some, let's go through BBC's gossip column for anyone watching that doesn't bother clicking onto it, or anyone listening later that just wants the updates. Arsenal face competition from Juventus in their pursuit of Fiorentina Vlahovic after Juve made their Serie A rivals an offer for the Serbia international. Talks are that Vlahovic just wants Juventus. Vlahovic has been accused of ignoring the club's calls by Fiorentina chief executive Joe Barone following the Gunners' reported bid for the Serie A forward. Yeah, it looks like he's no interest in going to Arsenal. He wants Juventus. Liverpool are monitoring Eduardo Camavinga's situation at Real Madrid, having been admirers of the 19-year-old French midfielder for some time, says El Nacional in Spain. Jesse Lingard, 29, looking for a move away from Old Trafford. The January transfer window, and he's also open to running down his contract. Apparently Newcastle made a 10 million loan bid for him, which is a weird one. Tottenham are open to selling Dele Alli and Giovanni Lo Celso after the pair were left out of Antonio Conte's squad for the game against Chelsea. Dele Alli's fallen off a cliff, hasn't he? Lo Celso, he's never overly impressed me, but Dele Alli's fallen off a cliff. He looked a fantastic talent 2 or 3 years ago. Newcastle may consider Ali as a backup option if they're unable to get Jesse Lingard. I think people are looking at Jesse Lingard because of the spell he had at West Ham at the back end of last season, and really helped them out. Spurs have made an offer for non-league lose English winger Ollie Tanner to beat off league rivals Brighton, young midfielder. Brentford are close to finalising terms on a 6-month contract for Christian Eriksen. Doing due diligence on the 29-year-old's fitness to play. It'd be great to see him back playing football wherever it is. Christian Eriksen, after what happened to him in the Euros, it'd be brilliant to see him back. And we were talking about this last week. Newcastle are closing in on the signing of 25-year-old Dutch left-back Mitchell Bakker from Bayer Leverkusen. And Arsenal have agreed terms on a loan deal for Juventus Brazil midfielder Arthur Melo. Liverpool, here we go, Fabio Carvalho. They're monitoring that situation. Well, there's 6 months left. Someone's going to have to take a pop at this fella, or else he runs down his contract. The Reds face competition from Leeds and West Ham. They're the two clubs. Newcastle's hopes of signing Duvan Zapata from Atalanta were boosted by the Serie A's team's willingness to loan out the 30-year-old Colombia international for around 8 million. So this is the road Newcastle are going down, which I think is a clever one. Pay some loan fees. If it works out, keep them on, or don't. And if it doesn't work out, they go back to their clubs. Premier League is set to change rules around the postponement of matches due to COVID, with clubs required to prove at least 4 positive cases to get a match rearranged. Yeah, best of luck with that. Best of luck with that, because they don't know what they're doing. They're just making stuff up as they go along. Waiting for the fume on Twitter. So as to why we aren't signing Eriksen, listen, the most important thing in all that is Eriksen's coming back to play football, and I think it's a huge thing, and fair play to him, because it was a horrific what happened, and Alex said we'll be amazed to see Eriksen again. The incident in the Euros haunted me for weeks. It was horrible. Ali A says Carvalho wants Liverpool. He told Marco Silva the Fulham manager. We'll have to wait and see. It could be one where Liverpool just say, sit where you are and we'll take you in the summer. Could be. We don't know. But it's the only name kind of being linked, and we're 7 days out from the end of the transfer window. And again, there's genuinely been nothing solid this month for Liverpool. And when we bring you these daily shows and we bring you transfer agenda shows on the channel, we're not doing it just for Liverpool. We're doing it for all clubs, and we're not here to tell you this is what's happening or that's what's happening, or we know this or we don't know that. We're here just to go, there's the name being thrown out. What do you think of the player? Would he do well at that club? And it might never happen. Majority of them don't. But we like to have a chat about them. And Dicko says he's genuinely surprised Eriksen is back. Well, obviously the tests have been done. He's been given the go-ahead to play football again. And as I said there on the BBC website, they're doing their due diligence over his fitness to play. So that will include physical fitness, and of course, I'm sure there'll be tests done as well around around what happened to him in the summer. Let me see. Carvalho texts me saying he needs a guest list for Pop World. Says yes, fair play. Let me see. Ben Davis to come back from his loan on deadline day. Could you imagine? I didn't think we would do business this January anyway, says Kieran B. And Dicko was surprised that Christian Eriksen is back, but it's great to see him. 25 more likes needed to hit the 100. We won't do it by the time we finish, because I'm finishing up now. Later on, we are going to do a Man on Football show on the Daytrippers tonight. It's going to be myself. I will have a guest, I think, and we're just going to talk about anything you want to talk about in football. That's how Monday on the Man on Football show works. We're definitely going to talk around where the Premier League sits and who's for Europe, who's for Champions League, who's going down, and then we'll definitely come up with some topics. Like one that came into my head was, you see Luis Suarez coming back to the Premier League, and Coutinho's come back to the Premier League with Steven Gerrard. And I was thinking in my head, is there anyone that have gone away from clubs, come back and being brilliant? Have a think about that, and we'll talk about that at 10 p.m. Alex asks, have we signed Simeo or Lee Bowyer yet? Two of the classic Liverpool transfer stories. But that is it. That has been the COP update. Not much going on the transfer front, but I like coming on here every day, having a little chat about what people are talking about and getting your suggestions while we're there. So no big moves anywhere this window, says Kevin Sullivan. Yeah, nothing so far. So join us at 10 o'clock tonight for the Man on Football show on the Daytrippers, and we'll have a chat about wherever you want, absolutely wherever you want, for an hour or so. All right, talk to you in a bit. Over now.